Now, before we begin with this presentation, let us start with a short activity. Now, here, I would like you to guess what the following illustrations are. I'll give you a few seconds to think about your answer. Let's have the first picture. What do you think this is? Okay, time's up. Well, that picture is actually a cat climbing a post. Now, let's go to the second picture. What do you think this is? Well, that is a picture of two guys looking at you while you're down a manhole. And how about this? Well, I think most of you guessed this correctly. Well, yes, this is a window view of a giraffe passing by. And how about this last picture? Well, this is actually the top view of a man wearing a hat, riding on a boat and fishing. Now, these pictures, these figures, bring about a certain unpredictability. And somehow these pictures tap onto our different senses and somehow bring about this sense of wonder. So I would like to begin this presentation with the question, how do we bring back the wonder in a language class? In the novel The Little Prince, a figure drawn by a child was always mistaken for a cat, when in fact, according to the child, it was actually a boa constrictor eating an elephant. The author used this image to draw attention to the idea that adults lose a sense of wonder and lose the gift of creativity. In teaching debate to EFL students, I learned that it is also important to think with the mind of a child and not with the mind of an adult. This realization brings me to a whole new approach to teaching, as I realized that the monomodal class, prioritizing the linguistic or alphabetic mode, is a disservice to EFL students, because helping them become confident and competent debaters requires multiple forms and ways through multiliteracy and multimodality. Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle Bautista, and welcome to this presentation entitled Making Meaning in the EFL Debate Classroom. Now, before I share with you some classroom practices that I do in my EFL debate class, let me give you a quick literature review so that you can better understand the underlying principles that guided my teaching practices. The learners today live in a digital world that can keep them engaged as technologies and their design use different combinations of stimuli. For English language educators to be effective, be able to respond to this reality and cater to their students' needs and preferences. As Magnuson and Gadi in 2019 said, our language classes may become irrelevant if we do not seriously consider and evaluate the contemporary meaning-making that students engage in outside our language classroom. The multiliteracy pedagogy, according to the New London Group in 1996, acknowledges the active role of language users in any semiotic activity, any designing, as they interact with language and other modes of meaning. Thus, according to Kolasky and Pope in 2009, the aim of multiliteracy is to design learning experiences that develop learner strategies for making sense of new and unfamiliar meanings in any mode they show themselves. With the focus on the design, according to Press, there is the need to be aware of the different modes of meaning because language is just one among many resources for making meaning. The communication landscape today is truly multimodal, with the use of other modalities such as visual, auditory, textual, kinesthetic, gestural, spatial. Thus, there is a need to position multimodality in learning. That is according to Clancy and Coates, 2009. However, this does not mean that providing a multimodal learning environment is sufficient, because without the proper design, multimodality does not always guarantee learning. There is a need for educators to guide learners on how to navigate in this environment through setting clear goals and providing the necessary support. Incorporating the use of multiliteracy and multimodality is beneficial to EFL learners. Students who are struggling to express their opinions using a foreign language need to be provided with more motivation and support and more modes to communicate and express their opinions. Without the necessary support, some EFL learners may feel that they may see some impossible path, as their lack of confidence in their language skills can slow down their thinking and decision-making skills. So if this difficulty is not overcome, this may hinder the meaning-making process happening in class. As Holzer and many others in 2018 suggested that students' debate and critical thinking skills can be improved by designing systems that give control back to the user with sufficient scaffolding. The use of multimodality and multiliteracy in the EFL debate class can help students make sense of the different information that they encounter in the digital world. A case study by Sankek and Yakovlevich in 2002 found that incorporating multiliteracy and multimodality proved to be beneficial in improving their EFL learners' reading literacy, while a study by Suparmi in 2017 showed that the students' writing performance greatly improved by providing them with a multimodal learning environment. Similarly, this presentation argues that the use of these principles will greatly benefit EFL learners to make meaning in the debate class. So let me share with you now some of the practices, some tasks and activities that I use in my debate classroom. Let us start with the first task, which is ping pong debate. Well, ping pong debate, coming from the actual name itself, ping pong, was named after the sport in which players pass the ball to each other in a quick manner. This activity engages not only verbal learners, but also kinesthetic learners, as students are allowed to stand and move. Also, this activity allows them to have fun in passing arguments and answering questions. So here are the following steps on how this activity is actually conducted. The first step is to ask students to stand and in pairs, then assign each student in a pair as a pro or a con. Announce the debate topic, and then give 2 minutes for students to think of arguments to support their side. Next, ask the pro student to give their argument, while the con student asks why. Allow the students to continue asking and answering the question why multiple times for 2 minutes. Then after 2 minutes, ask them to find a new partner from the opposing side. Then this time, the con gives the argument and the pro students ask why. I'm sure your students will definitely find this activity very enjoyable. Now, let me give you the second practice that I do, which is called scaffolded debate. A scaffolded debate is creating a learning environment in which students are provided with support materials to help them become more confident participants in the debate activity. Through the Google Classroom, I can easily share materials to support my students, such as this speech template. The expression from the speech template can help students become more confident because with the use of the words and expressions here, they're given a sense of fulfillment that they can debate in English. Another tool that I actually share with my students is the use of a Google Jamboard. Jamboard is a collaboration tool. It is a digital whiteboard that can be used through a web browser or mobile application. This is good for brainstorming as images can be easily added to enhance students' brainstorming experience. Remember, images are powerful in communicating messages to the learners faster than words. This helps students overcome difficulties in understanding difficult concepts. Moreover, images can also trigger emotions that enable students to generate more ideas because these allow students to create their personal meaning. As they share these meanings with their classmates, the discussion leads to the creation of more meaning. Allowing students to engage with pictures results in multiple interpretations of meaning because every student has their own background knowledge or personal experience. And because there is a need to communicate this personal meaning, students are compelled to use words, gestures, facial expressions, or any other modes to communicate their ideas. Also, with the aid of the Google Classroom, I can easily share YouTube videos, and one YouTube video collection created by Sokibata Ego Debater in 2016 has helped my students better understand the rules, speaker roles, and features in the parliamentary debate. Why? Because these videos are easy to understand because of the combined use of narration, images, animations, and text. Aside from this, these videos are available in multiple languages, which is helpful to EFL learners. And other authentic materials such as documentaries or podcast interviews are also available on YouTube to help students understand and stimulate their curiosity on the topics assigned to them. Another tool that I share with my students is the Padlet. Padlet is a free online collaboration tool that can be easily used by students to post comments, images, links, documents, videos, and voice recording. This tool helped my students brainstorm and share their ideas by reading the opinion of their classmates. Students were able to make their own arguments and make their own rebuttals. It also helped my students follow the order of speaker roles in a parliamentary debate. As you can see on the screen, I designed the response boxes according to the speaker roles by inserting emojis or GIF images, and this actually guided my students where to place their argument. The next tool is called Circle of Viewpoints. Well, Circle of Viewpoints is one of the visible thinking tools from Project Zero of the Harvard Graduate School of Education. I use this worksheet so that students can see and explore multiple perspectives and realize that different people can have different kinds of connections to the same thing, and that these different connections influence what people see and think. The main point of this tool is to allow students to think and feel according to the given actors in a debate motion. In this sample debate topic, the topic is a robot dog better than a real dog. I used a picture of my grandmother who suffered from dementia and placed a picture of her robotic dog. The point of this lesson is to allow students to understand the very situations that these people actually have. For example, in this particular topic, such as the elderly is one of the actors that is very important in this debate topic. So if I can make students think about the people affected by this debate topic and also to make them understand what these actors actually feel, or for them to actually feel or put themselves in the same situation, I think that students will be able, as again, as I said, I mentioned a while ago, better understand the situations of these people. For example, in this worksheet, I actually included certain questions related to what they think and what they feel, such as, what does the person do? How do you know? Or for the feel section, I asked the question, if you were this person, how would you feel? Or why would you feel that way? These questions can help the teacher guide students who are having a hard time seeing other perspectives, or when a debate motion seems more advantageous to only one side. So next, and the last activity that I'll be sharing with you is called the editorial news video. An editorial news video is a video that focuses on a specific issue in which an informed and balanced opinion is expressed. Assigning students to create their own editorial news videos can make them creators and producers, and not just simply readers and writers. This benefits students because as they become creators, it will also require them to make decisions, solve problems, and use their critical thinking and creative skills, which are all valuable 21st century skills. Now, before assigning this task to students, make sure that they already have a good grasp of the topic, which will be the focus of the editorial news video. For example, before I ask my students to make an editorial news video about the topic of industrial accidents caused by elderly workers, they had already researched and debated about this topic for one semester. They also found that providing students with inputs on creating the part of an editorial script before assigning them the task of creating a video made the project more manageable for them. And one example of this input is this speech template. So after providing this speech template, I then modeled to the students how to add attention-getting hooks and memorable closes. Then I showed them how to put together voices, sound, images, text, narration, and graphical forms to create the editorial news video. Some examples of student-created news videos are available online, and I also shared them with my students to give them the confidence that they can do this, that they would be able to do the task. Now, why do we even have to use this task for our students? Why do we even have to plan? And I know that it might require a tedious process, but then again, we have to remember that there is actually a benefit of allowing students to create this multimodal output. Well, one is the improvement of 5 modal skills, such as 1, linguistic or alphabetic; 2nd, visual, such as moving and still images; 3rd, oral, such as sound and music; 4th, gestural, movement, expressing in body language; and 5th, spatial, which is the physical arrangement of things. Now, this is cited in the Ascot Diaries by the New London Group in 2000. Now, before we end this presentation, there are actually 3 takeaways. First, it is truly difficult to know and detect the different learning preferences of our students. So using different modes in the classroom, such as kinesthetic games, tactile learning materials, pictures, videos, online games, surveys, and many more will engage our students and cater to their needs. Second, using multimodality in the EFL debate class arouses interest among students as the use of many modes taps into their different senses. And lastly, allowing students to do multimodal tasks and create multimodal projects can help develop their cognitive and creative thinking skills and better prepare them for the real world. So, thank you for listening, and I hope that you find this presentation helpful to your teaching context. Here are the references that I actually used in this presentation. So thank you so much for listening to me and happy teaching.